Yo, what's going on, guys? Sekapoko here, bringing you another Genshin Impact video. For this, we'll be going over the updated 1.1 tier list for Genshin Impact, and we'll be going over the community-based tier list based off community vote for people talking about what they would want to say for each individual unit and where they're good, where they're bad, etc. We're going to go over the rating system first, and so we can explain it to you guys and how the rating system works, because it is a little bit different than other games, and we're going over the definitions of each category as well, and then jump into the tier list. So let's go ahead and jump into it. Also, I want to let you guys know we're going to be doing a charity stream live on Twitch on the 20th of November, which is going to be tomorrow. And we're doing it for Red Nose Day USA. It's going to helping for child hunger throughout the holidays for US, Canada, as well as globally. And the proceeds from that stream are going to go directly toward helping kids throughout the holidays. So if you want to join us, we'll be live on twitch.tv/Sekapoko. Let's jump into the tier list. Alright guys, so before we go into the tier list, if you guys are not aware about how this all works and everything, there is a first version of this tier list. Please go watch that video first before you go watch this video, so you can get the idea of exactly how the community tier list works, and you can get an idea of how each of these characters are rated, so you don't get lost in the minutia of figuring out which characters are rated in each spot. We're not going to go over every single character in this video. We're only going to be going over the characters for the release of 1.1, so it's going to be all the characters: Diona, Zhongli, what their name, Childe, as well as Xinyan. So those are the characters we're going over in this tier list, and we're going to go over some changes that we made from the original tier list at the end of that. So first, let's go over the rating system of the tier list. There are only 4 different tiers in this community tier list. The first tier of this tier list is S tier. This is going to be the highest possible tier. This is dominates in content based on the current role that we're talking about, with little to no issues. The A tier, which is just below that, has some issues, but clearly is a dominant force. B tier is pretty average, but they do work. And C is non-existent in this category or very bad. The definitions of each category that we'll be going over are going to be very clear here. The first off we got is support DPS. Now, support DPS is a damage booster that will take damage from characters' element type and amplify others through elemental reactions. Case in point, for an example for this would be Bennett. Bennett is going to be a great support DPS character. He's a character that can tee up elemental reactions by using his pyro effects and by giving a needed boost to other characters by giving them extra damage inside of his ultimate. So that is what a support DPS does. The next thing up is going to be defensive and healing characters. These are characters that are good at protection of other characters by using a shield. They are also including using healers and crowd control, as well as taunts. So for example, Mona has a taunt effect with a totem, which provides some kind of nice viability. Bennett is a healer where he has an ultimate that heals. There's also Diona and things like that, characters that have shields that provide protection. That is what a defensible and healing character is. It is not going over the overall HP value of the unit itself. It is going over what it provides to your overall team and how they provide a defensive and healing boost. Next up, we have a main DPS role. This is the primary unit that you have on the field most of the time, and a primary physical or elemental damage unit, and is used for the longest portion of most of your fights and for the highest damage per second that you have for your overall kit. And that is what a main DPS is. And next up, we have a reactive DPS, or a reaction character. This is a character that's going to create massive elemental reactions and give the team a massive surge in damage. These are surge damage characters and not great main DPS characters. They're good for a very short duration of time. They provide a large amount of reaction damage, and then boom. By reaction damage, I mean elemental reactions or different kinds of reactions that give you massive damage. Case in point, a really good reactive character would be Klee, where you can just throw her out in the field and throw out a bunch of bombs on like ice-based characters or whatever they may be and get lots of melt damage. Or if there was a lot of fire-based characters, you use Mona or another character like that in order to get lots of reactive damage that way to get a big surge in damage. That's why you've seen a lot of people that use many different characters get those big spike hits and then switch to a different character where the damage is much lower on a main DPS. Reaction characters can be really crazy, so that's why a reactive character is very different than a main DPS. Last on the list, of course, we have exploration. This is a very big part of the game in the early, mid, and now in the late game, if we see it as the most recent event where you're having to go around finding different things around the map. This is going to be a consistent element that we're going to find in the game, and exploration is a very big part of it. So the best characters for exploring the map and getting resources on the daily, as well as questing and puzzle solving, these are the best possible characters for that situation. Now, this entire tier list, by the way, is by community vote. I have no control over the voting schema, and people basically vote on Twitch chat for what they find to be the most valuable thing, and we'll be going over those in detail. So guys, without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into the voting. Okay, all right, so here we go. Okay, so if you did not know how we gain the ratings for this tier list, well, the way we do them is we do them by community vote, and the way we get community votes is we vote on twitch.tv/Sekapoko. I post out on Discord as well as on YouTube. I used to post to let you guys know when we are doing these votes, so make sure you subscribe with notifications on if you do want to be part of this, or join the Discord, and you'll see the notification there as well. So that's a good way to be part of this if you want to be part of it next time. If you are looking to know how we do the votes, you can see the vote clearly over there. We're voting right now for the exploration rating for Zhongli, and we're doing them based on a weighted vote. So it is not the majority vote, it is a weighted vote. So it looks like the highest weighted vote is going to be A tier, or the highest majority vote is A tier, so that's going to be good. So that's where we're going to rate Zhongli for this final tier. So there are 4 new characters that got added in this patch go around. The first one, of course, is going to be Diona. So we're going to go over Diona a little bit, and you guys are going to see Twitch chat as well. So there you go, Twitch chat. You can be part of this now. Yay for you being part of this. Big pog. All right, so because we're going to be doing this tier list here, Diona is going to be labeled as a B tier character in the support DPS. What we're talking about for Diona is that she is really cool for setting up some reactions with her ulti, and really good for her ice paw creating reactions, but both of those are long enough cooldowns and harder to get around to actually use effectively for a support DPS. So that's why she doesn't really rate high in support. For defensibility, her shield strength is very strong, and she's very good in stage 12 of the Abyss because she does have a cryo shield, which helps with ice absorption, so that will help you a lot there. And she is a very strong defensive unit, and an okay to mid-tier healer. Definitely a decent character overall for defensibility. For main DPS, people rated her very low because her multipliers are extremely low, and she does not do a ton of damage, so that's why she's super low rated. For reactive DPS, she is a cryo character, so cryo characters cannot get the best possible damage on their reactions when you second in an elemental reaction. That's why she's lower, and she's super short, so that's why she's rated to the bottom tier for exploration, and she doesn't really provide anything for any passive for exploration. Next up, we're going to go over Childe, and Tartaglia Childe is going to be a very fun unit, and a lot of people liked him a lot. So first off, we have support DPS. How good is he? Well, the votes for support DPS were very well weighted toward the A tier because of his passive ability, providing the nice rank 1 talent increase for normal attack and charge attack damage. And that's why people rated him as a good supporting character, because you can boost your normal attack and charge attack damage. Now this boosts your damage somewhere between 12% on charge attacks all the way down to like 5 or 6% on your normal attacks, really depending on what kind of character that you're using. So this can be good, it can be bad, it can be a very kind of mixed feeling on this one, so it's definitely okay. And I do like this character as a support unit, and I do use him, and you do see similar damage on different characters with different values, so it does kind of work out. For defensibility and healing, he doesn't provide anything to your team at all, so we kind of left him in the C tier there because there's nothing he can do for defensibility, just like a lot of characters in the game. Then for main DPS, since he is the only thing I would say here is that he could potentially be a good defensible character because he is a water character, and you can enter him with a cryo character. And I think chat went a little bit overzealous on the vote for the C tier defensibility. Personally, I think he would be B tier because of the way you can do the cryo and water reaction. But, you know, votes are what they are. All right, so for main DPS, obviously he's a god. He's a freaking legend. He's amazing. He boosts his own normal attack damage, his charge attack damage. He does crazy high damage in a lot of kits. There's many different builds for him, many different ways of playing him. He's awesome. As reactive DPS, he is Hydro, so that's exceptional for reactive DPS because you can tee it up with a fire reaction as well as Sucrose to get huge damage hits on enemies. Of course, Mona can get even higher damage on this, but you know, even higher does not mean it's bad. So he's an exceptional unit for reaction DPS, very good overall. As far as exploration goes, a lot of people did not like him at all. They just don't like Childe. It was really surprising. I thought he was going to be at least B tier exploration on this, and I thought it was going to be a little bit higher on the weighted, but a lot of people don't like him because he has no plunge attack. So if you're falling off a ledge with your E, you can't plunge attack, and that was a big negative that people said. And I was like, oh, okay. I can see that. The only puzzles that he can really do are going to be the flying balloon puzzles, and there's only one Hydro puzzle in the game. Technically two if you know about the hidden one that is right next to the what's it called? The ruin guard up in the place over in the water place. You know what I'm talking about? If you know what I'm talking about. Anyways, that pillar, the hidden pillar, and you can't. I don't even know if you can get that one with Childe. I've actually tried, but I'm pretty sure you can't shoot it because it's underwater. So I mean, I don't know how you would use him for puzzles. So for exploration, the only thing he really provides is that he's a husbando. So I get it. All right, moving on. We got Xinyan or Xinyan. I don't know how to say it, dude. Okay, I'm just gonna move on from it. Support DPS. So with Xinyan, she actually is a really cool character for support. We were really surprised to learn how good of a supporting unit she is. She provides a 15% physical damage bonus. You know, of course, from information that is not confirmed at all. And it has a constellation that lowers physical resistance. So then these are passive abilities based on you having a shield out, and whatever character that has the shield out gets the fizz bonus. So that's really good. I mean, if we're comparing it, that's really close to what Childe provides, if not better than what Childe provides for other characters. So that's pretty good, you know. And she does provide some fire reaction damage if you can too for ulti, but her ultimate ability is basically in physical damage as well. So she kind of and she's kind of a weird character. Her overall kit kind of scales off of defense, and she has very comparable auto attack damage and everything else to Noelle. So her shield that she provides is really, really good and actually scales based on the number of enemies that are around you and off of her defense. So for defensibility and healing, an A tier for a shield. It's a very strong shield, and I kind of want to try her personally because I do like her on a fizz damage build team. The other thing that's really cool about fizz damage bonus team is that she's a fire character, so that makes it, because she's a fire character, now you have one less fire character to put on your team in order to get fizz damage bonuses. So if you for example, for a team that's going to be teeing up for support and defense, what you would need is say Bennett as well as Xinyan for your fire characters to get your fire resonance on your team, and then you can then use a cryo character, whatever you wanted to use, in order to give yourself an ice particle up there. And you would also need an electro character, and an electro character would be Fischl, could be Kaching, could be Razor, whatever you want to use as your physical DPS character. Or you can even use a support Fischl with an ice DPS character like Kaya, or potentially any other character that comes out like Ayaka in the future. Man, I have this thing in my throat for Ayaka, and that sounds like a really good way to go specifically for those kinds of units for future DPS. For main DPS, her multipliers were a little bit lower. We're comparing to Razor. She has much lower multipliers than Razor. Very comparable multipliers to Noelle. Again, these are not final numbers, but you know, based on what we saw kind of meh numbers. And she did have some interesting kit things, but it wasn't really that great. For reactive DPS, she was very, very low rated. She's actually the lowest rated unit that I've seen for reactive DPS because she doesn't have any kind of elemental damage except for a damage over time effect that she does have when she pops her ultimate, and that didn't really seem like it would be the best for any kind of elemental reaction because it's a damage over time effect, kind of a lower damage multiplier, more toward the support end versus a reaction. So that's why she got rated so low there. And then for B tier for exploration, because she is a claymore user and she can break rocks and crystal chunks in the open, and potentially you can use her E to get a little bit faster crystal chunk grinding if you wanted to. Overall, that's okay, and there was some possibilities there. So Not really my favorite for exploration, but yes, it would work. And the last unit we're going to be going over today, which is going to be Zhongli for the brand new units. We might go over some other ones in a minute. The thing with Zhongli is going to be a huge support. And we were looking into how good Zhongli actually is. Zhongli as a support DPS is incredible because what you can do is petrify enemies for a total of 3 to 4 seconds just on your ultimate ability talent level. But then there is a constellation, maybe there might be a constellation that you can get at a certain constellation, which, you know, like a lot of you are going to be able to get, right? You're all going to get that constellation. It's super deep in the tree, by the way. That is going to make it so that your petrified duration goes from 4 seconds to 6 seconds. It's actually very impressive to increase your damage that way. So because there's an enemy that's petrified on the field, there's nothing you have to do to dodge, so you can consistently boost your damage. So that's for a support DPS unit. You can actually get way more damage in because you can petrify enemies, and that is a huge thing. To not be able to have to switch to defense ability mode, not to do anything like that, is a good way to boost your own damage because you don't have to dodge. Overall, that's a huge facet that other characters can have, and that's what a lot of cryo characters and water characters can do. But the thing about this is that you can actually potentially put up auto the particles in the meantime. So I'm actually kind of curious how that's going to go. But chat very much liked him as a support DPS. I didn't really think it was going to boost your damage so much, but they really much liked it on S tier support. For defensibility and healing, the rating for Zhongli got is going to be S tier for sure. He is insanely defensive. The Petrify alone would put him in S tier. The Petrified by itself. The fact that you get the shields on top of that, extra defensibility on top of that, extra damage that goes around with it, and the healing that you get on C6, oh my god, is insane. So overall, super cool. Super cool. For main DPS, we were actually comparing him to Zhongli as far as the multipliers that he had on the main DPS, and what was really surprising is the multipliers are significantly lower than Zhongli across the board for both normal attacks, charge attacks, etc. And that was probably the thing that we were like, oh, that's not the best. So we're really on the fence on the main DPS, and there was a lot of people that voted for had a very split vote between A tier, B tier, and C tier. A tier and B tier. It was a really close vote on this one, and this one was like, I was on the fence as well. I would think he almost A, if not A, for the main DPS because of how you can use his overall kit. But, you know, I definitely can see main DPS Zhongli kind of being out the woodwork there. For reactive DPS, obviously C, because you can't do any kind of elemental damage reactions on reactive DPS for him because he's Geo. And then last up, we have Exploration. He was rated an A tier because he is a great rock breaker, and he's a very large man, so he can climb fast as well as run faster than other characters. So very good for Exploration. Overall, mid to top tier. So very strong there. So we did one change in the tier list this time around, and we did it for Bennett. And Bennett was the most underrated character that we had done in a lot of things. We boosted him up to support DPS because of the way his actual damage will work, and the fact that you can get large amounts of elemental reactions on Bennett is really strong. He's actually the best reactor that I can think of that you can actually switch to a character inside of this field, hit your E, then switch back to another character, like a water character, say Childe or Mona, whatever, and then do a charge attack after that, and then switch back to him, and he'll already have his E up. And because it's on a 2-second cooldown to 4-second cooldown on his initial E, it's a very strong reactor. The other thing, of course, is that he boosts a very large amount of attack, of course, in his ultimate, making him very strong. The other thing that he was loaded rated on, he was actually rated on A tier for here, and then we actually revisited it and boosted him up. The next thing, of course, is his defensibility and healing. Now, before, when we made the original tier list, this actually was really low rated on the heal because everyone thought he stopped healing at 70%. Now, what happens is if you get enough HP on your Bennett and enough increased healing factors on your Bennett, what happens is that you can actually heal way past 70%. And the reason you can heal way past 70% is because the heal tick only starts at below 70%. But if you're at, say, 69%, you instantly full heal. And that is what happens on Bennett a lot of the time. His healing tick per second is like 5,500 a second right now on my main account, and it is extremely strong. And even at level 80, at level 90, I bet you'll be dropping 6,000 to maybe even 7,000 healing per second. So he can be a very strong force when healing is considered. I definitely recommend Bennett as a main healer on your team, especially if you have high enough energy recharge rate with a Favonius sword or sacrificial sword. Super exceptional unit for healing, and definitely one of my favorite healers, if not the second best healer in the game. But all right, guys, that's going to be doing it for the video here. 4 different characters. If you have ratings in here that you're not liking, what we're going to do then this time around on the tier list, if you do want to change a rating of a character for the next tier list for say 1.2, what we're going to be doing is taking votes in from the community for YouTube. If you guys want to put in your votes for something else and be here the next time we're doing a tier list, I'm going to do a social post on Discord as well as in YouTube, so you can vote that way. And if you would like to change a character's rating in the current tier list that we have right here, and you want to revisit some of the other characters that are in the tier list and talk about their ratings, etc., that would be one thing we can do. If you need to see the original tier list, again, the link to that is in the description below to go over the original characters, and this is just an update to the original. If you don't like a character's specific rating, what you can do is, of course, put your comment in the comment section down below and let us know exactly why a character should move up to a different tier. If your comment is really high rated by the community and a lot of people are reading and interacting, this is what the community tier list is for, and they're talking about why this is going to be a good unit for you, what I can do is take those comments and actually use that to help us affect other tier lists in the future. That's going to help us get more community feedback, get more interaction with the community, and get you guys involved so you guys can make your own decisions on what you believe to be the best. Again, these are not my opinions, these are community opinions based on what people have voted on. But my name's Sekapoko. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did enjoy the video, of course, like, subscribe, all the fun stuff, and you guys have a great rest of your day.